Good evening, everyone. It's 7 p.m. I'd like to call the meeting of the Bethel Public Site and Building Commission to order. Would you please rise and salute the flag? Absolutely. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Is there any public input? Public input, public input. Going once, twice, 3 times. Correspondence other than bills, we have no correspondence. We all got a copy of the minutes of the meeting on September 13th. I'd like to make a motion that we approve the minutes of the meeting dated September 13th, 2023. I'll second. Are there any changes, additions, deletions to the minutes?
I have to abstain.
You want to say all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? We have 2 abstentions. All right, thank you. Old business, municipal center updates, renovation. Any news? We good?
Your mic's off.
We gotta unmute him.
No. Can you hear me now?
Now you got your mark.
Okay, sorry about that. Mark Schweitzer with Colliers. Just very briefly, we do have an invoice, but and we can discuss that at a little bit later. There was one issue over the week or the past 2 weeks. I guess a toilet flange on the women's toilet was leaking. BMP brought in Brookfield Plumbing in this morning. I believe it got fixed. I didn't hear anything to the contrary on that. So, but I would consider that a warranty item more so than a contract, completion of a contract or a punch list item. So, but Kathy notified them yesterday and they were very responsive and got out here this morning.
Any questions for Mark? And Mark, we don't have the invoice.
I don't have a Colliers invoice.
We don't have a Collier invoice.
No, not a Colliers invoice, a BMP invoice.
We don't have one of those either. Nope.
Nope, there's no BMP.
Okay. Okay. Well, I guess that we did receive it. I guess it didn't get into. I guess it went to both Nancy and myself. It is. Well, let's discuss it and then we can table it for the next meeting.
Correct.
It is for the full retainage release. The retainage being 2.5% of their contract, so it's just under $8,300. Sorry, for the retainage.
All right.
And I did get their contract. And well, if I can, Kathy, if I can share.
Yeah.
This is their excuse me, requisition for the 82.05, and their agreement, it is just basically hold retainage until completion of the project and a final certificate of occupancy which we received.
So for all intents and purposes, the project is over.
Correct. That's what I would consider it. I mean, the item this week was a warranty item that we still have a year on.
All right. So yeah, we're gonna have to table this obviously till the next meeting. It's October
11th.
The 11th, I believe.
11th? Okay.
Yeah, it's the 11th.
Okay, we're gonna have to table to then.
Okay.
If we have a copy of it. So I don't really foresee that to be any problems. You cut and dry according to the contract, so. Any questions from the board? I guess that's it for that. All righty. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that.
You're welcome.
All righty, how about the old business, some of the municipal center locker room update, anything, hallway locker, or anything like that? Haven't heard anything. Okay. Renovation, I don't have any invoice for that. How about the high school HVAC upgrades? Any more on that? You have anything for us, Jen?
I know we are getting ready to submit our updated grant application. We were hoping it's due in December. We're hoping to get out in November, so we are looking to get any feedback from you guys, if there is any, so that we can finalize our plans and submit the grant.
Can I make a suggestion?
Sure.
Could Cole Ronan at the next meeting be here and give us a kind of description of what they're doing?
I thought we already did that, but if we need to do that again, I can work on scheduling that.
No, we
Cole
haven't had
Ronan
them.
never came here.
No.
They did in May. You were actually not there. That's one. That one.
Craig
they-
Rossa did come.
Yeah.
That was not them too.
It'd be good if they came back.
I mean, has there been any changes to the initial proposal or ideas or from them? I think
No, nope, same design, which is actually, Nancy sent out an email with all the links to the design documents are in that BHS HVAC folder. So there's no, nothing new from Kohler Ronan.
John, did you receive my email?
I did, yeah.
Okay. Because that's
Yeah,
what,
but I'd
that's
like
what
to
Craig
do it,
Rossa.
I'd like to do it the other way. I'd like for them to come and describe what they're doing
Right.
and then go out there and look at
Mhm.
it. I mean, that's kind of like, let's not beat a dead horse over this, but we're doing this all in reverse right now.
Mhm.
And we're all volunteers. I think the correct thing would be that Corwin come, bring the plans up on the screen, show us what they're doing, and let's make sure we're doing the right thing for the town. Is the VRF still in the?
The design hasn't changed.
Yeah.
But that's why,
That's concerning.
well, that's why in the
Yeah.
email I sent you, I asked you if you could put your thoughts down. So to give them a chance
And to
to,
put my thoughts down, it would be Cole Ronan to come here and describe what they designed and then come up, you know.
All right, so John, we already did that, and I'm sorry you weren't at that meeting, but we're hesitating to ask them to do something that they've already done.
See, I don't think that's a bad idea either,
It's so much time has passed that I believe
yeah,
that
this
it's
is,
very,
this is
very
really,
worthwhile.
at that stage, it was very early on, and
6
I
months.
don't think there was even, they didn't know where the funding was coming and what have you, so I think this is,
And from May, we were told, forget about it,
right,
because they didn't get the grant.
right, because we said stop.
Right, now the grant's back into the picture, we should be refreshed.
Yeah, I
And
agree.
have them come here with whoever designed it, give us, put the plans up there and tell us what they're doing.
Absolutely.
And then from there, I will take Mr. Gimanero's offer to go out to the site, but I think we're gonna.
But we have a very tight timeline, which is why we asked for feedback in writing from this committee. I can't remember the exact date, but I remember we were looking for that within the next week or two, because we have a tight timeline to get everything lined up to do the grant submittal.
It's not doing till December, so we could have them come to the next meeting.
Yeah.
We're not on a fire drill here.
Yeah.
And we have to sign off on it. We
No.
put our names on it. I don't see what the big deal for them to come here in October.
If we can make it the first meeting in October, it's October 11th. And and then probably do a walkthrough very shortly thereafter. We can probably answer a lot of these questions within a very reasonable time in mid-October, early to mid-October.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree.
I need to check the timeline on this first, because I believe I believe we were working for a specific turnaround that I do not have in front of me.
So if you can get back to us and let us know, you know, I'll let Kathy know, so we can schedule the next meeting. We can make that one of the first items on the agenda. We take care if that's gonna happen.
Yeah, so, to be clear, so we went out to bid for the design through the town process. Kohler Ronan won that bid. The Board of Selectmen and the procurement team with Brad and everyone officially awarded the bid to them to do their design. The Board of Ed paid for that contract and they have provided the design. And the building committee comes into play if we receive the grant. So we are trying to work with you out of a courtesy because we want to make sure we're maintaining good relationship between the Board of Education and the building committee. But we are very cognizant of the fact that we have already, asked Kohler Ronan to do a few things that were a little outside of our original agreement in terms of going to evening meetings and things like that. So we really do need to be careful there and make sure that we're not taxing them too much.
Yeah, and Jen, not to be disrespectful, but, we have an obligation of the board, and we've gone through this before. We were good enough for the $65 million project. Nobody came to us when you started this project because you didn't feel that you had to. Now that the grant requires our board approval, all we're asking for is for them to come, refresh what they're doing, and give us an opportunity to comment on it. And then if necessary, a couple of us may come out to the school and want to do a little.
Yeah, I believe that offer for you to come out to the school has been in place for several months.
Yes.
And then it never transpired.
A redesign will cost a lot of money. That's kind of.
I don't think they're looking at a redesign. I think it's just a
Understand.
clarification.
confirmation.
I think it's to put the whole team together.
That's
right.
And I think it sure makes a heck of a lot of sense.
Be careful
Just
with that
to,
ready.
yeah, that's what I just got. I just think it makes a heck of a lot of sense to get us all together, have a consensus, and move the project forward.
Right,
We
we never
ain't
went out,
starting off on the wrong foot.
we never went out because the project was canceled.
Yeah,
So that's the reason we didn't do the
I
walkthrough.
I don't think it's an unreasonable
And-
request.
Both John and I have had reservations about certain units being used and the way they're gonna be installed. And John pointedly said months and months ago that he's not gonna put his name on it, and I wouldn't either, if these certain units were used, because the lifespan of them is not what they should be. So why would we go ahead and spend this kind of money on a product that's gonna last maybe 8 to 10 years at best? And I know people say it'll last longer, but John and I both have 30-something plus years each, so 70 plus years of doing these units and installing them and working with them. And we need to make sure, to John's point, we're giving the taxpayers of Bethel the best bang for their buck.
Right, and I think we do need to clear up the misconception that the plan involves units that only last less than 10 years.
This would be their opportunity.
That is not accurate.
Well, it
This would
depends
be
on
their
what units you're
opportunity
talking
to
about.
Let them explain what they're.
Well, I'll argue this point, it depends on what units you're talking about.
Yeah.
Because John and I both know, I've managed millions of square feet, so has John. And we're not gonna just sit back and say, okay, well, they say it's gonna last this long. Well, we know for a fact that it doesn't, if it's the certain units we're talking about.
So if you could maybe reach out and then let us know, let Kathy know, if we can make it for the 11th, I would definitely appreciate that. All right. Any other thing on the updates? Or that it? Or?
Did she agree?
I will check the timeline. I will go back with my team and see where we are in terms of our timeline and our agreement with Kohler Ronan. I'm not saying no. I'm just saying that my understanding was that that was not what our next steps were. So you're kind of throwing me for a loop here, because my understanding was that the next steps was the building committee was going to put in writing any concerns, and that we were going to use those specific concerns to what was put in writing to address those specifically. So you're requesting a change in the plan that I thought was agreed upon. So you're kind of throwing me for a loop here, but I will go back and look at our timeline and see if it's possible to accommodate your request.
All right.
Jen, we never agreed to the plan. I don't know who agreed? Who agreed to the plan? We didn't.
Yeah.
No, we were against it from day one.
Yeah, we didn't agree to the plan.
I don't mean the plan drawings. I mean that our next steps are that if the building committee has any concerns about the design, we would like to receive them in a writing. I thought that step of the building committee putting concerns in writing was agreed upon. That's what I meant.
All right, well, if you could check with them and let us know. That's, at this point, we're kind of agreeing to disagree to certain things, but as a committee, I think we really need to maybe ask them some questions to get a better clarification and understanding of the overall concept. And maybe their answers to us at this point would answer some of the questions that we have concerns about.
Absolutely.
And then we can just move on quickly from there.
The concerns from the very beginning,
Yes.
that I went to the meeting with Nancy quite some time ago.
All right. Anything else? All right. Moving on. Rockwell and Johnson School updates.
Yes, so Rockwell and Johnson School, we had our final walkthrough with SLR and Sunburst yesterday. Perfect timing after we received some pretty heavy rains over the weekend. No washout. Grass is well seeded, coming up, as are the willows in Aspen that are down just below the level spreader. Unfortunately, land use was not able to join us. They had at first told us they were going to be able to join us, and had someone come up last minute. So David said that he would take a walkthrough later this week to give his final blessing, but SLR had no comments. They said they believed it was executed for design and was functioning for design.
And I think with the rain we had over the past couple of days, weeks, if there was a problem, we would have.
I would think so.
It definitely would have popped through.
Yeah, we've been keeping an eye on it.
Yeah. I mean, it's great that you're here because the only thing that SLR said was, just a maintenance plan of the detention basin. First off, you're getting some real trees in there that you want to cut down before it become an issue. And then, probably once a year, hopefully you get a dry August or something that you're just gonna have to pull out a little bit of shovelfuls of dirt, and some leaves and all that.
How about with the actual Rockwell and Johnson's closeouts anymore on that? I think that's been pretty much, no, we haven't heard anything from the state yet. So that's a good thing, I guess. So with that, I do have a couple invoices for schools.
Am I allowed to share?
Absolutely. Ms. Kathy wants to give you one.
The, spelling. You're in now.
Which one do you want to do first? STV, Perkins, or Sunburst?
Let's see which. So I have, that's a police firing range. I have our STV. Let's actually start with the in order. Is 818. So invoice 900284553.
All right, that's the first one. So if we can pull it up, I'd like to make a motion motion for discussion that we invoice number 900284453, invoice date is August 18th, 2023. It's for the amount of $2,730. So do we have any? I need a second.
I'll second.
It's been a while. Any questions on this? I mean, nope. So this is for Johnson School, by the way. All right, if there's no questions, all those in favor for the payment of the invoice, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Dave Olson said yes.
What about Lieutenant Turpin?
And, yes,
This is school.
he can't do that. All right, next one.
All right, second STV invoice, which brings us up to our cap on the Johnson School. As we know that we extended this project out several months because of issues procuring the pipe and then issues with destroying the pipe, which necessitated several additional site visits by STV. So this brings us through the middle of September. But like I said, I just had my final walkthrough yesterday, so there will be a change order forthcoming, probably, I'm guessing a couple hours, 6 hours, 8 hours, something like that.
So for discussion and voting purpose, I can make a motion, we pay STV invoice number 900288842 dated September 14th, 2023, in the amount of $1,456.
I'll second.
Second by Roy. Are there any questions on this invoice? And again, this is for Johnson Elementary School. Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstained? So carried.
The next one here is for Perkins Eastman. This is actually time for SLR, when they came out and did their site visits at the beginning of the project before when we first did the clearing, and then also when the pipe was first laid.
All right, so make a motion that we approve invoice number 0068962.0.97 for the amount of, now, $1,866.60. Because I have, somebody wrote no on here?
It's 27,
Yeah, it's on the second page.
2460.
Okay, hold on.
Nancy would have written no on it
Yeah.
when we first received it.
Yeah.
Because we received the Perkins Eastman bill with no backup
That's right.
for the SLR. And this now has the backup from
Backup.
SLR describing the time that they spent.
So yes, so the invoice amount is $2,724.60. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Second. So is this?
Oh, yeah.
They were out here with us yesterday for their final site visit. Yeah, and they're writing us a letter for substantial completion of the project, whereupon receipt will release Sunburst retainage.
Beautiful. So we can kind of put this Blackwell Johnson thing. All right. Other questions on this invoice? You're not going anywhere yet, there, Bunky. So, no questions? All those in favor?
All right.
Aye. Opposed? Abstained? So carried. What else we have there? Oh, we have,
Okay, so we have Sunburst. This is the change order that we had discussed.
Right.
So after, this is not for the pipe that they damaged. They replaced the pipe that they damaged on their own dime. However, what they did do to mitigate any possible thing of that happening again, if you bring a lawnmower out there, this pipe was flimsy, so they brought out 66 tons of stone, as you can see here, which was not in the original specifications. So the entire 130 feet run, they now have stone. And obviously that took some intensive labor on their part as well.
so I'd like to make a motion that we pay invoice number 22674 dated August 31st, 2023, in the amount of $4,450 for Sunburst. Is there a second? Second from John Perna. Other questions on this? I know this was
the
told to
last
us.
one?
Yeah, well, we have their final.
No, we have
This
their,
is change order.
Oh, I'm sorry.
right. And then we have their 50%, and then we're still holding retained 5% retained from the whole project. So we get our completion.
So, yeah, again, this project is also coming to an end. All right, if there's no questions, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, so carried. And you do the biggie.
So this is their substantial completion. This was originally given to us in August. We pulled it off the table once we found out the pipe was damaged. And now that we've inspected it, we're putting it back on the table. But again, we still have our 5% retainage until we get our completion letter.
So I'd like to make a motion that we entertain payment of invoice number 22221, dated August 4th, 2023, in the amount of $45,120.86. One second.
I'll second.
I'd just like to say before, I think some person does a really stand-up job.
Yeah.
We used them for a couple things on the major school project,
Absolutely.
and they have come through for us every time without any problems, and they've been upfront and honest. So I just think that as a company to work with, they've been very good to us, that's for sure.
Now, is there anything the town has to sign off on?
That's the last piece. David Collin from the land use was supposed to join us yesterday.
Oh,
was held
okay.
up.
I'm sorry, I didn't recognize the name.
Yeah, so he's supposed to also send us his sign off.
And I'm sure he'll go out there because
Yeah, he had been out there a couple times during the summer, so.
I know he's had some very direct input with the whole operation. But, all right, any other questions on this invoice? So this is for drainage work behind Johnson, labor and material. So labor was $25,593.05. Materials, other than the change order we approved, was $18,527.81. Any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? So carried. Beautiful.
That should bring us to line with Johnson School.
What's that?
That should bring us to the end of the stuff at Johnson School.
Yes, Johnson Rockwell School. So I have firing range, and I have an invoice for $210.
I did not have that.
Okay, and we'll hold on to, this is from SLR. No, we'll hold on to it, you have
Yeah, was it sent to Nancy maybe?
it. I don't know.
I printed off everything that was included in anything, so I'm not sure where that was, but
Okay,
If you want to take a look.
good, yeah.
We'll hold off on that one too until the next meeting. I'll just like to, unless you see something that's not recognized.
unless it's already been paid and it was just an extra that Nancy had given me, because I did have stuff from her too from the last meeting.
Yeah, this looks like it was included in the one we just approved.
Okay.
You can hold on to that if you want.
Yeah.
All right, very good. So that really finishes up on tonight on the, unless you have any questions from the members about the school project at all? Nothing. All right, let's move on to the police station. We have any updates on the police station firing range?
Yes, so we did finally were able to coordinate with Action Target and had their materials were received a week ago last Monday. So that is all on site. Unfortunately, it arrived at about 8 o'clock at night. So Downs had already left for the evening, and they're agreed upon splitting up the materials of sensitive electronics going inside the space and non-sensitive structural materials being kept outside. Wasn't followed. So Downs has kind of been trying to work around their stuff. And Kevin, you're on the line, so you could probably describe this a lot better than me. We also had a very productive call on last Tuesday with Action Target regarding the MAU concrete pad. They had been insisting that they had a conversation with this group as well as my predecessor, Vince Salinas, regarding the size of the pad being expanded to basically the full length of the building by 20 feet deep. We didn't have any record of that. Downs did not price that. So, it was not picked up on Jakunski's documents. So we were able to get on the phone with them and come up with an alternative way that we could support the unit itself and the exhaust fan and the filter bank all fit on the pad. No problem. The issue then becomes that our trunk lines then extend out about 15 feet on either side, going east-west on the building. And those no longer would be supported by the pad, but can be supported by piers, can be supported alternatively. So we're working with them to redesign that in an economical fashion. John, you've actually been copied, since Nancy's not around, I've been copying you on all those emails, yeah.
I have it here someplace.
So Evan, when did this come up? I mean, Downs and they didn't pick up on this as far as the original design, as far as the original.
So according
I'm
to,
just trying to understand why there was such a disconnect. I'm actually a little concerned, especially when I hear that, the materials don't get delivered at the site correctly, and those are kind of preliminary steps that sure sets a bad tone for the whole rest of the job.
so the materials on site, as we've talked about before, the ATI has tried to deliver on site several times when we told them that it's not an active construction site.
Correct.
And we, once Downs was mobilized and created the opening, that was done on Friday, and Action Target was given a window to then deliver the materials. They said they'd be there on Monday. Unfortunately, they had a snafu with the delivery guys, and they ended up showing until later in the evening. I can't really,
I'm just concerned because all this, not only does it slow down the job, but also costs someone some money. I usually find it comes back to us.
yeah.
So I'm trying to get a handle as far as what we're talking about here.
So to date, there's been no mention of Action Target charging additional funds. And Kevin, Kevin, you could speak to whether or not you're having any issues with the materials on site.
No, so the material that's currently in the firing range is not impacting our work yet. I talked with the electrician that's been on site doing work, and he says that he's still a couple weeks out before it, impacts him from doing like overhead conduits. And I talked to our sprinkler contractor who's ready to gear up to install next week, and he doesn't seem to think that it's an issue yet, but I did talk to Action Target directly and did express our concerns that this stuff does need to get moved around before it does impact us. So he was, he took that under advisement, and he was going to talk with a crew that was, I guess, finishing up and seeing if he can get some people out here to move this stuff out of our way. And I'm just waiting on confirmation.
Okay.
So today, I know I saw the door opening cut open here. So, and some of the equipment was delivered. So now we're still just kind of recapping on the discussion of putting some piers in for the mechanicals for the ductwork.
Right, so that's it. So the material that was delivered was Action Target's interior range equipment. So that's all their wall panels, their controls, everything that's going to be interior to the space. The makeup air unit still has not been delivered. That's still holding it at the end of next week to be delivered.
Okay.
And that conversation, according to Action Target, regarding the size of the pad happened when they were directed to switch from Dakin to Aon. And they said that when they were directed to change from Aon to Dakin, or Dakin to Aon, they informed this committee that the size of their pad was going to change.
Never.
No.
We never got that.
No,
We'll go back to, we'll have to go back to find out the date that they said that, but I know I missed a few meetings recently, but that was never brought up in any of our meetings that I remember. And as a matter of fact, to go back to the equipment, we stressed the Action Target, that they weren't just gonna be able to show up with stuff at the PD.
Right.
And the unit was one thing, but any material, there was nobody there to unload
we need
it.
to coordinate it so
There's
we can
nowhere-
run it out of
yeah.
the weather, yes.
Yeah, it was close to the impound lot
Yep.
or something.
Yep.
There's an evidence chain off area for vehicles.
Right, right. So there was, I thought that somebody had mentioned they would try to clear some cars from the impound lot,
Yep.
maybe to use that as like.
That, Lieutenant Durkin, that's been done, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, all the equipment was brought in through the impound lot, so the vehicles that need to be moved out of the way were moved out of the way.
Now, has anybody talked to you folks at the PD about access during working hours? What, check-in at the front desk, or they're going down, or what was, just for our own curiosity, what was the setup on that?
Yeah, I talked to Kevin from Downs, and yeah, all they have to do is check in at the front desk and just go and do what you got to do.
Okay, great. I
Gonna
just wanna
be-
make sure.
Yeah,
they
I'm
all-
going to be there, most of the time. One concern I have with it, I don't know if this is out of order or not, is it seems like the equipment is been delivered and it's kind of in the way now of work that has to be done. So I'm just curious who's in charge of coordinating that. And I mean, it's what's done is done, and now we have to move forward from here. But why was that delivered before the electrical and the fire suppression stuff was done? It seems like that work could have been underway before this equipment showed up.
So, Lieutenant Durkin, we actually had this conversation with Downs and Action Target, that they were going to be able to deliver their equipment on the date that was set. However, they were only supposed to put their weather sensitive equipment inside the space. And that would allow for enough space for Downs to work around. And then the non-sensitive equipment, the structural pieces, the pieces that were packaged, would be left outside in the parking lot in a laydown area. Unfortunately, their delivery team was delayed from working hours when Downs would have been there to coordinate to about 8 p.m. And apparently they did not get the message that they were only supposed to load sensitive electronic equipment into the space.
So wouldn't that burden on action stuff out?
Yes, and that's what Kevin.
So that's what I'm just trying to,
Yeah.
I just want to have an understanding, because I don't want to come out
Nope, and
another week from now.
Yeah,
There isn't any.
and Kevin has been, he communicated that to Action Target last week.
Especially when you're having an issue right off with, I mean, you got guys in there doing the work.
Yep.
I mean, that's unacceptable.
And as Kevin said, Action Target has responded and said they're going to get a team out here to remove what's necessary. It's not causing Kevin an issue at the moment, but we're gonna keep the pressure on as a
Well,
group.
I think you gotta get a time frame on that, because if not, Downs is gonna have to move it and bill them for it. Someone's gonna have to make this happen.
Yeah, and that's exactly the message I relayed to the Action Target contact, is that, I mean, we're not at a point yet, but we're getting there soon. And if it gets to a point where we just don't want to be responsible for moving their equipment, and if something happens, we just don't want to go down that path. But if we're forced to, we will. And I mean, we'll have to deal with Action Target directly, but we're just hoping it doesn't get to that point.
That opening, at nighttime, will they secure it like plywood door or something?
Yeah, so the temp enclosure, it's secured from the inside. There's no way, I don't want to say no way, but it's secured.
Okay, yeah, I mean, hopefully we won't have a problem in the police parking lot.
I mean, they go through stores and take stuff out, so I don't know. Anything could happen. I don't know what happened.
Keeps the honest people out, we'll say that.
There you go.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. But we are making progress. And so the other subcontractors are doing work in there and what they can.
Right.
And hopefully, once they get set up, then in Downs, we can start getting Action Target to install their structures inside and then the HVA system being installed on the outside and so forth.
Right. And that is another issue that we're having is, as you guys have mentioned to me previously, the health department is taking a exceptional interest into this. And so what I have done as of today is ask them to separate out the scopes of work into 2 separate permits. So that, because they decided to, and Kevin informed me of what this board actually needs, they're send it to the State Health Department of Epidemiology, which I didn't know what that was. But apparently that's for viruses. So
You've got a better filtration system here than most
So-
hospitals.
I had a discussion with another town official, and the question that needs to be asked is, where is the state statute as far as, or requirements for shooting range air quality?
So
There is none.
There is none, and it says it puts it into the town's jurisdiction. The town's jurisdiction means that they could then kick it back to a state agency if they say it needs to go through epidemiology because it needs to be whatever. It's because it's their determination.
So there could be a time issue here.
So Diane, who's the administrator over there, gave me a window of 15 to 25 working days effective 9/13 was the day that I submitted. So we're getting there. I mean, it's already been pretty close to 15 days.
Didn't I say at the last meeting this could be an issue? Boy, I hit that nail.
But that's why I'm trying to get it to break out the permits, because
Right.
this is down scope of work, has nothing to do with the makeup area and the filtration through the range. So if that permit is separate from the action target permit, then we could, Downs can proceed with no issues. And the MAU is not gonna show up till the end of next week, so, let's hope that that's gonna give them enough time for them to
And we,
make that determination.
have we heard anything from Eversource about the,
So that is ATI, again, that's their subcontractor, Performance Mechanical out of Torrington, Connecticut, is the one that's handling that information, and that's, you see the emails that I'm sending to them on a nearly daily basis. And they're, say,
So I think on that, we're maybe making it a little too complicated, because that single sheet for Eversource can be done by the owner, so it can be done by the town.
okay,
It's a prescriptive measure. So however big the unit is, if it's a 50-ton unit, I'm making it up, they're gonna give you $100 a ton. The town fills it out, and all they put on it is the install contractor and then the invoice,
okay,
when they pay it.
yeah.
It's much easier to,
That,
normally the way that's done
that one's done, that one's done.
for the
It's a-
makeup area.
Yeah, the gas air, it's the gas load letter that I need performance.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Oh, when he said, when you meant Eversource, you meant not the rebate, you meant the gas.
yes,
Okay.
that, yeah, I should have.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Okay. Because the rebate we could do ourselves,
Yeah.
we don't need it.
Yeah.
Then the install.
yeah, that's,
contractor would do it.
the rebate's done. The gas load letter is the one that's.
That's in the works.
Yeah.
So if you run into a problem time-wise, Please don't hesitate to give me the call.
Okay, yeah.
I'm with those guys.
Well, in the gas.
Yeah.
I'll help in any way I can.
All right, anything else on the shooting range at this point?
Just that we've got the Eversource rebate on the makeup air unit pending, right?
Yeah.
We should contact them. They may want to do a post-inspection, pre-inspection.
Okay.
And then come to post-inspection. And then we might be able to get an incentive on the split systems.
Yeah.
Because those were smaller VRFs, I think. And those are pretty heavy right now. They're very generous with those.
Okay.
It may even be on.
Okay.
Not, they can contact them.
Yeah.
All right. We have some invoices for them.
We do have some
Want to
invoices.
do the Downs STV first?
Sure. STV.
We have two of them.
The 18 ones. I also have a chat. I think Jen is still on. We'll have to circle back to you, Jen, and once we're done with this. Okay, so this is July and August for the firing range.
All right, I'd like to make a motion that we entertain the payment of ST invoice number 900284456 dated August 18th, 2023, in the amount of $2,924.
Second.
Roy seconds. There's discussion on the invoice. We like small invoices.
I'm trying.
We prefer none, though.
Well, I can't.
I don't know about you, but.
Well, next meeting, there won't be any for Johnson and Rockwell.
All right, that's good. So all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? So carried. Next one,
I think that's the only one that I had for firing range.
I have one for invoice number 8835.
From STV?
Yes, I do.
No, I don't have that one.
Okay, then we'll table that one. That
Yep.
one, that was dated September 14th.
Okay.
Not to interrupt, but Evan, did you receive the invoice that I sent you?
Invoice that you sent me, the payment requisition?
Yes.
Yes, but I have not seen anything from Mark Allen saying that he is approving it.
Okay.
I saw that you responded to his questions, but you would need to see the something from the architect saying that he's willing to put a signature on it.
Okay. I'll follow up with them. Thanks.
Is that what this other invoice is?
No.
No?
So the Downs is an actual change order. So if you remember the last meeting that I attended, we were having a hard time getting a contractor to directly hire for doing the fire protection work.
Right.
So Downs actually had that in their initial bid package, and we took it out thinking that we were going to be able to put it out on the street and hire directly. Couldn't get anyone, so Downs came back, put it back into their contract, is basically what they're doing here. So this is change order proposal number 1, to add the fire alarm system back into Downs and Rogers Electric.
And didn't we have it on the initial for $5,000?
Yeah.
All right, so let me make a motion for approval of change order number 001 for the fire alarm system from Down. This proposal, change order proposal number 1. This is an amount for $5,186.05. Initially, again, we did have $5,000 in the budget for that. It was kind of taken out. So we're looking at a basic $186.05 increase. So we have questions on this?
You don't need a second.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go one time there. It's gonna be a long time again. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Purdy, my friend, will second it. Questions? Concerns? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? So carried.
So Kevin, do you need somebody from this committee or the first selectman to sign this before we can get it going, or are you gonna, can we,
Yes, looks like Carter has to.
Yeah, I mean, I'll let Rogers know that we're moving forward with the fire alarm.
okay,
But yeah, I mean, formally, I would need someone to sign off just for the record, and followed by this would be a GMP amendment.
yeah,
So we have the PCO and then the actual change order that increases the GMP. So that would be followed up by this.
So I'll just initial that we approve it on this date, and then we can get it signed by the selectmen. And like I said, this won't be a problem. It's already on the minutes, but.
I guess we should probably, Kevin, discuss the payment, application for payments. So if we're meeting the last Wednesday of every month, or the second to last Wednesday of every month, do you want to try and get these? I'm just not sure of the timing. It's going to be either we're going to be dealing with them in the first meeting of the upcoming month, so you might be 2 weeks behind, or do you think you could get them in early enough that we'd have them for discussion at this meeting at the end of the month?
Yeah, I can certainly get them in for the end of the month. I mean, it's not, there's not a lot of requisitions that I have to review. There's only like 4 subcontractors, and they're all relatively small amounts. I was hoping to get the September one for review. I just wasn't aware that the architect never, I thought that I answered all of his questions and that sufficed what he was looking for.
Yeah, I have not seen any type of communication from him that he has been satisfied.
Okay. Can I make a request that if the architect signs off that this can get like pushed forward this month instead of having to wait till October for our September bill?
So it would be October 11th would be the next meeting for this committee, and it needs to be approved by this committee. So beyond doing a special meeting for your payment requisition, I don't think we could.
Okay.
What's that?
This is Down's invoice,
Down's payment requisition, yeah.
but we don't have it.
We don't have it because
Oh.
yeah. So he submitted it to myself and Chikunsky Humes for review. Chikunsky Humes came back with some questions, which Kevin responded to.
Right.
But Chikunsky Humes does not verify that they accepted his answers.
So what's the plan to send his invoice and have the architect sign off on it?
Yeah, so the payment,
Oh, good, okay.
payment application has to be signed off by the architect. All right, now we have the big one. As previously discussed with Action Target, we refused their earlier request for payment until they delivered their equipment on site. They have now delivered said equipment, so they are billing to 90% with $82,000 left for their install.
So let me make a motion for payment of Action Target invoice number 136183-4 dated August 24th, 2023. It is in the amount of $382,152. This is the third payment for manufacturing and pre-shipment of materials. As noted, the remaining balance after that once the install is completed, is at $82,038.
Can I say something?
You absolutely can. Well, this is time for discussion.
So to be honest, I'm very concerned that we haven't gotten the makeup area unit yet. And they haven't put an hour's worth of labor into the job.
Right.
And we're only gonna hold $82,000. That's not good. I wouldn't do it. I don't know what the number is, but I wouldn't do
I
it.
don't think the contract called for it.
There were no terms
Correct.
of payment in the contract.
Right.
This is what they say is their standard, which they actually sent us a copy of their standard terms of payment, which is not part of Bethel's contract. But this, according to them, what they standard do is exactly this. Once all materials are on site, they bill 90% and leave 10% for labor and install.
But the biggest material is the makeup area.
So this is, again, the discussion, and there's a motion made. Seconded, so. Did we go down this road once a month?
Yeah, we did.
We did.
It's the same one.
But, I mean, we have to bring it up because it's.
Yes, no,
And especially in light of the fact that, you couldn't even get the equipment delivered in the correct location.
Right.
I mean, I'm really quite offended by how this has started. So it's not gonna get my vote, I'll tell you that.
again,
Discussion? Well, if there's no other discussion, we can make a vote on it, and we can table this again.
Yep.
And if we vote no, it will be tabled again, and then brought up again after that.
I just want to make it clear that I think to date, though, we've paid about 410,000, is that
That's correct, yes.
Yes. 410.
pretty significant amount?
half the job.
So is there now that we have their equipment on site, is there an amount that this committee would approve? Or if we're saying that by October 11th, MAU will be on site, that this invoice could stay as is to be approved on October 11th? Or is there a different amount that we're looking for on October 11th?
Even if the makeup air unit key, you got to put it on site. I myself wouldn't pay an invoice of $328 and only leave $82,000 to do the job. It's just not.
It's not what you do.
Not what you do, because there's no incentive. We're gonna be put on the back burner. We're trying to do things to move the project along. If you don't hold the contractor with some money back, there's no incentive for them to come here and do the job. So what people might think as perception is we're slowing down the job, we're really not. By holding the money back, it will give them ambition to get here, drop the unit off, get stuff installed, because they want their money. And $82,000 is
Not a lot of incentive.
not a lot of incentive, that's right.
Okay.
Especially when it's not part of the contract.
And here's how I would back it up for the benefit of the PD, is the makeup air unit gets delivered, it's on site, we want to schedule the values of install.
Okay.
And then we can talk about payment. The unit's here, your equipment's here, now send us a timeframe, schedule values of, on this date, this will be done, on this date, the makeup air unit will be set and tested, and, that'll speed up actually the process of getting the range completed.
I mean, this is totally consistent with every bill that we've approved tonight. Every bill that we've always approved, it's gotta be completed, or there's that schedule of when it's gonna be completed with values. We're always working up against a number. That's not enough to hold up with this.
Any other questions? Well, I think we should take a vote on it. So, those in favor of payment, signify by saying aye. Opposed?
Nay.
Nay? Nay? Nay. Vote carries. no payment this time, it will be, wait for the next meeting.
And quite honestly, they could get those schedule of values, they could be making them now and just work off the date that contingent on when the makeup your unit arrives.
Yep.
Because they're flying these people, I'm sure they must have, maybe they use a few local contractors, but
No, from.
the Target stuff, that's their,
Yeah.
they're coming out from Utah.
Yeah, and these work crews work internationally too, so I mean, we're on the docket if we miss that, and Kevin has been on these phone calls, if we're not prepared for them, and we miss our window with with them, then, they're not gonna have another crew available until the summer. So.
Pretty important that we get this done.
Yeah, we definitely want to get this done. It's long overdue. We need to get it done. But we got to make sure the town is being protected. And the police department is getting what spec'd out and needed.
Again, we gotta deliver what the Bethel residents are paying for.
Is that right? It says that the blue line, 328. And then on the
This is
bottom,
382.
It says 382.
The inverted sum.
So I just want to make sure you get a correct.
So, so I have, on this one, total at 382,152, and total due 382,152.
I know, but the blue line, you were saying you were paying the
says
third
third
payment,
payment.
which is 328.
Oh, they inverted the number.
So that's why I'm just saying it's not
Okay, there's a reason
in
why.
my mind.
There you go. Can't pay off a bill that's screwed.
Good catch. You're the new chairman.
You
Chairwoman.
Is there any other business?
Jen did put in the chat box that she had an update. I don't know if she's actually still online.
I'm still here, yes.
Are we
So
gonna
I wanted to let you know that I did speak with Dr. Carver. I reached out to her to let her know that some of the building committee members were having difficulty understanding the design documents from Kohler Ronin. And so we will set up an offline meeting. Everyone is invited. Everyone is welcome to attend. But we'll set up a separate meeting to go through the design documents again and make sure everybody understands what they are. So we will be in touch in terms of scheduling that. So we can do that.
All right. Fair enough.
Well, it's offline, like, we work during the day.
I mean, obviously, Jen, because our working schedules and we can't have a quorum. So if possible, could this be done possibly in like an early evening? I know it's asked,
I mean,
but-
we are not going to ask our engineers to do a night meeting. We already had them come to a building committee meeting at night, and that meeting is, it was one of these building committee meetings, right? It's available, it was recorded, it's available for people to rewatch it if they want to. So we don't want to repeat what we've already done and do the same thing twice. But we will definitely take schedules into account and try to make sure everyone can attend.
All right, well, reach out to us when we have something in the queue.
Okay. Wait, us, is that Kathy Galbus?
Yeah, you can, she can relay the information to the committee.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Sorry, Kath.
You don't have enough on your plate, right?
Is there anything else for business tonight?
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? All right. Let's go home. Wait